Now we're here with Nutella McDonald, who I'm going to interview to find out about her take on the redundancy process and to find out how it affected her. Okay, so Nutella, I believe you were an employee at the Woolworths branch in Croydon?
I was, yes.
And how old are you, Nutella?
I'm 24.
Could you just give me some background information on how long you were working at Woolworths for?
I started in October 2001 and I obviously finished last year, 2008. So 7 years. Yeah.
How much notice were you given before the whole redundancy process? I mean, how did you find out about it initially?
I got a phone call from one of my colleagues who works in the head office at 6 one morning, and he basically said that Woolworths were in trouble and that they were going to close down all the stores, and that's how we found out. He had been on the BBC News and found out that way before an email was sent out to any stores or anything.
Okay, how did you feel about this initially?
A little bit let down because obviously we were going in I was a weekend staff and we were going in weekends thinking everything was normal, and clearly it wasn't. Woolworths were in trouble, the staff didn't know, and for a lot of people it was weekends only for me, but it was a lot of people's livelihood. They were taking it kind of week by week, saying this could be our last week, next week could be the last week, so it was just a case of how much stock the store had as to how long they could stay open.
Did you guys know that actually your statutory right is up to 12 weeks in the UK, that you should be giving up to 12 weeks notice before you're made redundant?
No.
You didn't know that? How do you feel about that?
Shocked.
Yeah, it's pretty...
yeah, it's quite shocking. No, we didn't know that.
Woolworths actually contacted Deloitte to find some extra help and appointed them for help and advice on their current situation. This was way back in October. Were you guys ever informed about this? Were there any meetings conducted at that point?
No, I mean, I'm not sure if head office knew anything about that, but as a store we didn't know anything. We didn't know we were in trouble at all. We had no idea. So, yeah.
And how much were you paid?
Sundays was time and a half, but that's only if you was on the old contract, which I was. And on Saturdays it was probably about $5.85 an hour.
Employees are actually entitled to redundancy payout. What normally happens is the government getting the money back from the company through the goods or assets which they eventually sell off. Were any of you guys made aware of this during the whole redundancy process?
No, I mean, I've spoken to a few people who had started not long before I'd left, and obviously they said that they weren't entitled to anything, being that they hadn't been there a year or 2 years or something. So, but in terms of redundancy, I wasn't told an awful lot, really.
Were you given any help or advice about finding new jobs or anything like that, or any training? Or...
In terms of just sales assistance, I don't really think we were offered anything, really.
Do you know anyone who was affected, like anyone who had dependencies or any kind of...
I know quite a few people, and I know some people who actually their whole family worked there. I know there are a lot of people, colleagues that I used to work with, that are suffering, so...
Thanks a lot, Nutella, and hopefully things will improve for the people that are still left out there.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm now speaking to Sam Durajaman about his redundancy process and how the redundancies at Woolworths affected him. So how old are you and how long were you working at Woolworths for?
I'm now 28. I've been working for Woolworths for 10 years.
And how much notice period did you get?
Well, I worked in the head office branch up in Marylebone. Okay. So literally we were told at 12 o'clock on the actual day that we'd been made redundant.
12 o'clock on the day?
On the actual day. And then we were told we had to vacate the premises by the end of the day. Originally it was 2 o'clock, but the problem is you have to get passes to get through the doors. So they allowed us to the end of the day to get all our stuff out. Well, for me, on the day the news broke the Woolworths into administration, I heard it from the BBC, and then an hour after that, the official email came out from the chairman saying that we've now gone into administration. And then the bit about Deloitte coming in again, we found again via a third party that Deloitte were going to come in. So it was really a cloak and dagger.
Were you guys aware that Woolworths actually contacted Deloitte around the 16th of October 2008 about problems that they were having?
I don't think anyone knew that they contacted Deloitte to look at look at the company as a whole in terms of, in the case of, are they going to sell the company or appoint administrators? We didn't know it was going to be the case of to be this drastic measure.
It's ridiculous. So basically, most of it was speculation. Rather
Most
than
it was speculation.
Coming to you saying
No
that this was
official
the
email
case.
came out saying that we've appointed so and so to have a look at so and so. Nothing like that came out. It just wasn't the Woolworths way.
Did you guys ever get any information through? I mean, even in the post from your administrators or any of the guys over at Woolworths about what was happening at all?
For me, no. Literally, if I was to find out anything about Woolworths, it would be a case of going onto the Google site and type Woolworths news, and then I'll find out, because I found out more on the internet than I did from Deloitte. So it was a case of, you've been made redundant, here's your pack, call this number, bye. That was the annoying part, in terms of, it was frustrating for someone like me who's worked for the company for that amount of time to be shown out the door like that by a third party.
With regards to the redundancy package, were you guys informed about this at all?
Well, a case of us, it was a case of what we did, we just searched ourselves. Someone will search about redundancy and then someone will send a link out. Oh, have a look at this link, we might need it just in case. So we did it off our own bat in terms of trying to get as much information as we could. I really do think they need to protect the shop workers, because they're the people who are really, really going to get out of pocket.
Gordon Brown had mentioned that he would obviously provide some sort of support and training for people that had been made redundant.
I mean, I heard, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, fine. If Gordon Brown's going to help us, fine, okay, we'll see how that goes. But that was, once that decision was made, Woolworths went to administration. But it was a case of, I didn't see anything what the government were going to do. I didn't see anyone from the government saying we're going to do this. To this day, I haven't heard anything from the government about Woolworths. For me, it's all hearsay, personally. Because I didn't see how they're going to say we're going to help Woolworths employees go back into work, because they can't do it for the job centre. Because I went for the job and said, I work for Woolworths. They didn't say, right, we can put you in this, we can put you in that. No, it was a case of, oh, it's just another person just made redundant. So the whole thing about we're going to help Woolworths is a load of rubbish, if you ask me, personally. But that's my own personal opinion.